First, we have former head of the Rivers State Civil Service, George Nweke, said he would provide evidence of public fund theft under the administration of suspended state governor Signaturetv Fubara to security operatives when called upon. This is as he accused the Fubara's administration of misappropriation. Nweke stated this in a press briefing on Saturday, alleging that the theft of public funds under the suspended Rivers governor is mind-boggling. And to have this discourse, we have Wisdom Land Anyaragbu, who is a convener democracy with borders in Rivers State. Good evening, Wisdom.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good evening.
Okay, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, good evening. It's democracy without borders. That's the right
Okay,
word.
let's dive right into this discourse for today. We have, allegations of money embezzlement under Fubara's government. What do you have to say about this?
Well, first of all, it is public knowledge that we saw the way and manner the ex-head of service, has displayed in some days ago. This is somebody we know very well that he has served in the civil service for over 30 to 35 years, held sensitive positions within the Rivers State Ministry of different ministries precisely, and now ended up to become the head of service out of the magnanimity of the governor himself appointed him. But, if you also look at the text conversations between the ex-head of service and as well as the governor and the chief of staff to the governor, you see that at a time, the former head of service, showed incompetence, showed how, lack of contentment. He was asking for money because he felt that at the moment, he was supposed to get more than what he was already receiving. And we are talking about a state that is, engulfed with political disagreement between the serving governor and the former governor. And the governor has continued to reiterate that he is not the governor of the state for personal gains. And the likes of the former head of service should also have understood that even before he was part of that fight. But because he thought that because he was part of the fight that he was expecting a bigger bread to share with the governor, and he was disappointed. And now what we are seeing is him coming to tell Nigerians. As a matter of fact, it was a script he read. It is public knowledge. We all saw what happened. The whole Nigeria witnessed it. He was reading from a script. Somebody who says he's making a confession. At least if you're making a confession, your confession is supposed to come from your heart and from your stomach. The Bible says from the depth of the heart, the mouth speaketh. But rather, there was an instruction from somebody we already know, telling him that he should go just by the script as has been instructed. So it tells you how gullible some persons, especially not minding the levels and capacity that people might have risen in life, it tells you their social, it's a sense of judgment and acceptability. So, but as a matter of fact, it is all false. And we all know, for some of us who are very close to the government of Rivers State, I have been a contractor. I have been part of the previous administration of the government of His Excellency Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike from the year 2017 down to 2023, before I ran and contested for election. So I think I can speak from a very close range of what happens within the government house, because then I was a liaison officer within the government house. Most of the activities of the governor, especially when it has to do with political meetings and as well as personal appointment, it has no business to do with the head of service. The head of service is only saddled with responsibility of things related to civil service, and that's all. So, but imagine when the head of service come out publicly to make a statement that he has evidence, and as a matter of fact, that he saw when the governor handed a bag of money. It's regrettable, it's laughable, and above all, it shows how the level that he has reduced himself. But I think this is also, a statement of intent for us to know that these people, especially the enemies of Rivers State, will leave nothing untouched until they see how they can be able to pull down the governor on their project or pull him down. But the truth is that the governor remains unmatched. The governor remains, if you even see the followership of the governor, it is very, very organic. And the people of Rivers State knows in truth that if the governor was not fair, honest, he wouldn't have even assumed the office of the governor today.
Interesting, Mr. Wisdom. So would you really say that this is from a point of sentiment, when things don't go your way? Do you really think this is coming from a place of hurt? And how would you compare the timing of this thing happening? Is this like, a well-structured period of time for all these things to come to play?
Well, to answer that question, that even the timing was when it was almost at the verge of retirement. You understand that at the end of this in the booth as a civil servant, and now he was looking at what he's going home with, and he has demanded. But now, from information reaching us, we are reliably informed. I am speaking based on information reaching me exclusively that he was, if you listen to the statement of on channels yesterday, he also confirmed that he was also asked to receive 5 billion naira just to be part of the impeachment of the governor, which he declined. So the enemies of the state will leave nothing, unturned. They have seen that Nweke already is gullible, he was weak, and he was almost wrapping up. So they needed somebody, especially within the caucus, or somebody who is close to the government, that can be able to say something that can indict the governor. But I can tell you with fact, because even in the issue of that particular indictment that the Nweke made mention of, there are over 10 witnesses, including members of the Nigerian police force and other security agencies, that were manned to take responsibility of the security post of the State House of Assembly. And some of these people's oaths are in the court, and we have evidence of people who are attesting what really happened and who have access to the State House of Assembly complex as at the time, before the arson attack took place. But at the time that Nweke is coming up with this, it shows you that he's already running out of time because he's almost at retirement. And because of the state of emergency, he felt that this was the best time for him to throw in the towel. And if you also look at the script also, you see that he did not play the script properly because he did not even carry the wife along. When the wife observed, the wife, knowing that Nweke has always been committed to the services of Rivers State, called the governor immediately to inform the governor of the action and what is happening, and also swore that she's aware that the husband was under duress. And we also watched the script, we watched the behind the scene when the Mr. Nweke was instructed to read by the instructions and by the script that was handed over to him. So it's very, very clear that even the timing, it was scripted, and the timing also we understood. But the truth is that Rivers State remain resolute, remain strong, and we are in solidarity in support of the governor, because we know that by the actions and the antecedent of the governor has no, in the Bible they said, I have found no iniquity in the house of Jesse. The governor has no iniquity, and that is the reason why, of all the effort they have made from day one to remove the governor, they have always, fought. So we continue to watch what happens.
Okay, I understand that the people of Rivers State have so much faith in the suspended governor. Peradventure, this evidence, comes out that the Rivers head of service has stated that he has. If this evidence comes out, do you feel it's going to, mar the fate of the people of Rivers State? Is it going to, break their hearts in a certain extent towards the governor? Do you think it's going to change how they feel about their governor?
Well, I can tell you that with all sense of humility and responsibility, that if peradventure any testament or whatsoever evidence that Nweke assumes or presumes to submit before the floor of the Nigerian police or security agencies, I can tell you that they are all false and lack locus. I can tell you categorically that even without the governor sitting here with me, I can tell you that that particular action, see, let me tell you, we are living in Rivers State. In case you are not aware, let me throw you a little back. When the governor, congratulated the former local government chairman who served under the dispensation of the former governor on the 17th of June, if I'm not mistaken, and he asked them to hand over to all the heads of local government while he wanted to prepare for the local government election. Some of these people who were in the habit of engaging in arson attacks against government facilities, they made direct threats. And I can tell you, it is public knowledge. Over 3 local governments were under attack. Ikwere Local Government Council was under attack. Eleme Local Government Council was under attack. Are we now saying that this is something not that we are no longer familiar with? We know those who continue to make threats of arson, and whenever they make these threats, it happens. The Minister of FCT as well, after his media chat, 4 days interval, we saw what happened. So, but we don't want to go into that. The only thing I can tell is that no matter the evidence that Mr. George Nweke has to present or has submitted based on compromise, because we know he has compromised both himself and his personality, it is all false and they are all, doctored. But I can tell you that truth will definitely stand firm and the governor will definitely prevail.
Okay, so what actions do you really expect the government to put out to the public? What actions do you expect from the government when peradventure this evidence gets released? Do you feel the government would react in a particular way?
Well, I can tell you for free that the federal government today, ably led by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been the shadow marshal behind the political field in Rivers State because of Project 2027. As you already know, I am a political convener and also a political participant. I played a role in the last 2023 general election. I ran and I contested, and we all saw what happened. And the president as well know for free that in the year 2027, that Rivers State is not a catchment area for him. So now, because of what happened in 2023, he thinks and he believes that the only way he can be able to capture Rivers State, as against what he has already been losing from the north, is by taking total control of Rivers State. And I can tell you that democracy, like Nigerians already know, is the only tool for our coexistence. And based on the belief of democracy, both Nigerians and Rivers people will resist Mr. President. I can tell you, it's not about Mr. President anymore, because it is very, very clear to Nigerians that democracy is under attack, under the disguise of state of emergency. You cannot tell me, with all due respect, I'm not trying to take us off the topic of the day, but you cannot tell me that we have over 36 states of Nigeria that makes up the federating unit of the federation. And out of the 36 states, 35 states are enjoying free democracy. While in one state, we are experiencing what we call dictatorship. We are seeing what we call military rule, whereby a sole administrator, which is alien to our constitution, which is unconstitutional, is appointed. And now this same person is appointing people, and as well as removing those who are constitutionally elected and appointed. You and I will agree that 1999 Constitution, as amended, declared that no single money of a state belonging to a state can be spent without a proper appropriation. Even the Supreme Court gave a verdict that the governor should go and re-represent his budget so that the 2025 appropriation bill can become a law, which amounted to over 1.1 trillion.
But rather, Mr. Wisdom, not to cut you short, if peradventure this evidence is leaked, don't you think that justifies the declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State?
I don't think so, because if we're talking about justification for the state of emergency, like I said, declaring the state of emergency is not a bad one, because when you see that there is crisis or there is reason for maybe a conflict within a particular place, there might be need for state of emergency. But in the case of Rivers State, there was no need, there was no justification, there was no moral within justifying the action of Mr. President, because Mr. President was ill-informed, and as well as his own personal interest. And when we swore oath to defend the 1999 Constitution, the 1999 Constitution that we took an oath to defend sometimes even goes contrary to our own belief. And that is the reason why our own interests should be separated from the collective interests of Nigerians. Mr. President took an oath, and if you remember what Section 1, Subsection 2 stated, that no part of Nigeria will be governed if not by the Constitution. And the Constitution was very, very clear when he said in Section 188 that these are the rules by which a governor and a deputy governor can be removed from office. It is clear, either by impeachment, if the governor is found at maybe gross misconduct or whatsoever, misappropriation or whatsoever reason, or by death or by incapacitation. And now we're witnessing in Nigeria that a president, a sitting president who was duly elected, just like the same way a governor was elected, desecrating the Constitution, which is the highest law that is, even the Supreme Court today draws its life from the 1999 Constitution. Even the president himself draws his own power as the president and commander-in-chief from the 1999 Constitution. And this same president swore an oath to defend this Constitution. But what we're witnessing today is that the president is not only abusing his office as Mr. President, but rather you can say that it is very, very public. It is public knowledge that democracy is under ransom by the Mr. President, which is so bad, because he has been an activist right from the days of the Nadeko days. He has also been a strong voice, even when he was the governor of Lagos State in the year 1999. With someone he tried to establish the local government development authority, and the then president of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo, never declared state of emergency in Lagos State. Didn't we have reasons even when there was an explosion in Lagos State? But there was no justification for declaration of state of emergency in Lagos State. But now, because of his interest for 2027, he declared a state of emergency and also suspended an elected governor, suspended the legislative. Now you are asking me, will the sole administrator, all the expenses and all the money that has been released to him, who is appropriating them? Ex-head of service is somebody, a little history of my knowledge with the head of service. When I got to know the head of service was when he was a permanent secretary to the office of the secretary to the state government of Rivers State, which is the former secretary to the state government in the person of Honorable Tami Wenike Danagogo. And he served as a permanent secretary under the previous administration as a to a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic in Rivers State. For reasons best known to me, I wouldn't want to start disclosing my, my affiliations there. And I can tell you that Mr. Nweke is well known to me. Mr. Nweke is somebody who is not dependable. And if you look at him, he's somebody who comes up to say that he has a lot of people who are direct benefactors to him, but that he's not, getting more. I remember one of my conversations with him when he was a permanent secretary, when the former governor of Rivers State, organized the international February 2018. And he told me that I can imagine how bad it is that even the governor was organizing a competition, an international competition, and him as a permanent secretary, has nothing to go home with, that he had to even ask somebody to come and supply pure water in the state event. And I'm like, is this bad? But he didn't know that I also have other contacts within the ministries that were, saddled with responsibility of organizing this particular, occasion. So I can tell you for free, with my personal history with Dr. George Weke, that one, he's not reliable. And again, like I told you, the reason why he came out to make such statement is because he has been promised a token of 500 million naira. That if he does that and claim what is not fact, that he will be given same money. If you also, to confirm my statement, if you also listen to the interview, press statement granted by the wife of Mr. George Nweke on Channel Television, she also confirmed that Mr. Nweke has been accosted and compelled to sign documents against the governor that is untrue, and that he has continued to say no until his very good friend, who happened to serve as a former commissioner, appointed by the former governor of Rivers State, that also served in the administration of His Excellency Sir Fubara-Rivers, precisely, invited him over to Abuja. So if you look at the testimony of the wife and confirm with what I'm telling you, you understand that in terms of, in as much as he has served and worked for over 30, 35 years, and I can assure you that based on his track record, he has about few months left in active service. So he felt that this was an opportunity for him to, make something out of nothing. But it is quite unfair, because what will he tell his children after now? Because Rivers State and the activity and the misunderstanding happening in Rivers State today is not just about the governor of the state and the previous governor. It will become history. And history will hold kind to those who made effort for the unity and the promulgation of the state. And also, history will not be kind to those who made themselves tools. You understand me? So I can tell you that no matter whatever Mr. Nweke has submitted as an evidence, they are all untrue. They are not without fact. As a matter of fact, they were all, orchestrated just to haunt the governor. But I can tell you for free, with all due respect and with every sense of humility, that the governor of Rivers State stands tall above every accusation alleged against him. And I can tell you that he will come out with a clean slate. Of all the allegations that has been orchestrated or pointed or alleged against the governor has continued to say that there are records that will justify him. Remember also that this same governor was a former director of finance before he rose to the rank of the Accountant General of Rivers State, which means he was a seasoned administrator and a seasoned civil servant. He understands the plight of civil servants, and he also understands the techniques and the administrative professionalism in adjudicating his office. So it will be very unfair for him, having been a former Accountant General of the state, knowing the implication of these things, now becoming a victim or becoming a culprit. For crying out loud, it's never heard. So I can tell you for free that the governor is innocent and will remain innocent of all the allegations peddled against him. Thank you.
Mr. Wisdom, just to be clear, after this accusation by the Rivers head of service, has there been any internal audits or investigation that has been carried out in order to flag off these financial irregularities?
I love this particular area and direction that you brought me. As at May 2024 precisely, the National Assembly Committee on Audit and Public Procurement visited the government house of Rivers State, and the governor, was very familiar with them because he was used to submitting records as well as knowing what has to be done in terms of public record and public office keeping. Now, it is public knowledge that the governor of Rivers State, an outstanding governor, as a matter of fact, a gift to the good people of Rivers State, with excellent career and profile, has always been, very, very familiar, and as well as continue to render account publicly and privately on everything that relates to the finances belonging to Rivers State. Let me draw your attention. As at the time that the governor became and assumed the office of the governor of Rivers State, over 8 years plus in the previous administration, the internal generated revenue of Rivers State was never declared until 6 months to the end of that particular tenure. We were informed that the internal generated revenue of Rivers State were within 12 billion naira. But this governor, from assumption, immediately, especially within the time that this field, emanated, he came public to inform the good people of Rivers State that the resources of Rivers State is the problem. And that from the time he has rejigged and closed all the loopholes where Rivers money were all channeled wrongly and unjustifiably, that the Rivers State internal generated revenue has increased from as low as 12 to 13 billion and rise to within 26, 27 billion. Now you ask yourself, what is the ratio or the mathematics or the magic behind that? It tells you that this is a man who is accountable, who is ready for public accounting, and as well as ready to tell good people of Rivers State where their money has been going to. Secondly, also on public accounting, the governor has continued to engage in different projects, especially legacy projects. The previous administration, I can bet you, and I stand to be challenged anywhere, both in court, engaged in different projects as well as different flyovers. And in all of these projects, none of these projects were up to 50 kilometers at a stretch. But I can tell you that this governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Sir Signaturetv Joseph Fubara, has engaged in different signature projects, ranging from the Port Harcourt Ring Road project that cuts across over how many kilometers? Over 100 and something kilometers. We also know about the 62.50 kilometer road linking the Trans-Calabari Road and some other areas that I can't even mention or remember, at exactly. So it tells you that, and again, that in all of these projects, I want to inform you, no single money has been borrowed. All the contracts and payment has always come from the internal generated revenue. Now you ask yourself, of all the monies that we are collected as loan on behalf of Rivers State by the previous administration, and also the false declaration of our internal generated revenue, now who happens to be justified? It tells you the credibility of the governor of Rivers State. It tells you that, okay, look at even the political grassroots or structure of the governor. You can also see that it is evident that even members of those who are members of the political structure of the governor has continued to cry because the governor has not been releasing the state funds for political reasons. He has said that the state fund belongs to the people of the state. But anything that has to do with political activity has to be sponsored within the political members. A flag bearer and a national stakeholder of the Action People's Party of. So I can tell you that the governor has continued to show credibility, has continued to show honesty, and I can tell you that no matter what they try to compile or to bring together against the governor of Rivers State, they will all meet Waterloo.
Signaturetv, news in your pocket.